if I can't hop back on YouTube. All right, I think I'm back on all three: YouTube, Twitch, Kick. Just weird little dropout I had right there. All right, so place it same way. This little comparison page layout with all these sections already kind of with the central styling. And then it should just pass these down in its props. Let's see. Checklist section. Da-da-da. Needs to fix this read only alt. Header logos. All right, tell it to fix this error. Type read only. Why is that read only? Oh, why did I say read only? There's some weird. All right, let's try this. Cool. So still loads up fine. Now let's tell this to do the same with all right. Cool. Let's make these 1, 2, 3. all have the same structure. All right, so the same for this. Its own separate alternative template with all right, so I should do the same thing. These into a very similar kind of layout so I can use them more easy in the future without having to copy everything. These are good. 2 pages I need to do, features and how that works. An idea for this one. Let's count these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Appreciate the sub. All right, come back here. Place it into its own layout like we did before with all the styles in one centralized place, and then this should have refactored. So just pass down all the content as props instead of having to control each individual page stylings because the tailwind can get pretty unwieldy. So I like to try to keep this as much as I can in components, and then I'll probably end up doing this later on, unless next couple weeks doing it for my whole app. That's good. Now let's check this, make sure it didn't break anything. Refresh, cool. Still looks good. And then come here and I'm gonna tell it to do the same thing for all these other alternative pages. Let's go. Same background with these routes to use the new All right, cool. So the next thing, once all those are done, which should be pretty easy, all these pages are good. I made the features page, and then pricing looks good. Let me check this. Let's go test. The billing's good. All right, cool. Good switch between. I can claim. Great. All right, cool. This is the next one I'm gonna do. All right, so it says it's refactored. Let's check. Still works. Still works. All right, so that still looks good. And now I have a full kind of layout template right here that I can easily kind of extend with new pages instead of having to kind of readjust individually all the classes and layout again. I can just literally just pass down these different sections because it'll pretty much always be the same layout. And then if I want to change, I can just change all here essentially. So that's great. The next thing, like I said, some of these down. All right, so let's work on this. Let's just look at this page. So from green light to final delivery, green light brings one system for your client system. So manage. So basically, I'm gonna try to make this into steps with kind of arrows in between. Let's see what I can do with that. Bring that down for one. All right, so that looks good. And then let's change. Threes. Check that. That looks better. What I'm going to do is, in fact, let me grab. All right, so this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The last one will be things stays connected, and this will be full page. All right, cool. Let's do that. Section. Let's go. Let's go grid. Oops, 2, 4. Let's review the div. All right, so it's already starting to get there right here. Do this. Section. Where am I? It's let me go. Copy you. Take a look. All right, let's fix that. What's going on here? Maybe. All right, that looks good. And then what I want is, let's see. That goes manually. I'm gonna tell it to. While it's doing that, let's do this. All right, flex home center, padding Y. All right. Don't need a. With and maybe 4. All right, so I'm gonna rotate this. Let's go. All right, that's what I want. And then let's come here and check this. Cool. Now it's pointing down. Exact action I want. Let's just check my tablet. Still change that. I don't like how that looks. Back here and look, and then go large. Back check. All right, cool. Now it's pointing down. But let's remove that mobile styling. That's pointing back right. All right. Let's do this instead of BG. Foregrounds go brand. looks good. And then keep that, and then section 1, section 2. Let's take these. Yeah. Go here. All right, cool. So now let's take the same thing I did here. All right, and then that's gonna need to actually last name, let's go margin left. Let me do that too. And then let's come here, section 2. It's the same thing. Div. All right, let's grab this. It's here. Instead we'll call it arrow left. Here. Sorry, you can't find. Keto One, man, what up? Thanks for joining the stream. What am I making? I am putting the finishing touches on a app that I've been building for like the last month or so. It is a SaaS that is a place where it's going to allow freelancers and consultants and agencies and businesses of all sorts to that do a lot of client work to basically manage their clients and projects from start to finish, from like onboarding to messaging to task management, task assignment, everything that you might need to do within a project with clients and with kind of like coworkers or team members. Start a something. This needs to be flipped. Or does it? Is it hard at all? It looks complicated to me. Yeah, it's definitely not easy, I would say. This is easy. This part right here is easy. This is just all final touches in terms of like design and kind of making everything look the way I want it to look. The hard part is not necessarily building the app. Honestly, that's not the most difficult thing. It's honestly not that difficult to do. But what is difficult is the logic behind everything, especially when you start getting into like authentication and roles and permissions and who can see what, who can do what, like controlling all that, especially when you have, it's a very kind of like flexible system that a lot of people can kind of take advantage of. It can get very complicated very quickly in terms of the coding that and like kind of covering all your bases in terms of that. And same things when you're handling like subscription and everything. So the logic of it and the UX of it and like the user experience and intuitiveness of it was the difficult part. The coding itself was pretty straightforward because it's pretty much kind of the same systems most apps and web pages use, which, just authentication and, messaging and stuff like that. It's all nothing brand new, but to get all that to connect together and getting the logic of everything to connect together, yeah, that part was pretty difficult. That was the hardest part. And then also creating a user experience that is actually intuitive and easy to understand was also pretty tough. But this part is actually really easy. I'm just trying to figure out the general last touches in design and SEO of my app. But it took me about, I'm gonna say like 6 weeks. I say I probably got this done in about 6 weeks. All right, so let's make this even. Two weeks? 6 weeks? I thought it took like 2 weeks. Man, I wish. But when you start adding new features and you start expanding features and you start like, running into little bugs and little issues, like I said, and then you start getting to the logic of things, yeah, it can take much longer because there are a lot of kind of moving parts that still need to work and work in different situations and different. It's more so the edge cases and everything that takes the longest time. But 2 weeks, man, I wish. When I first said it, I was like, yeah, it'll take me 3 to 4. It's always typically double what you think it's going to take. So, I mean, that's right on par. About 6 weeks is still pretty fast for something of this size, honestly. All right, let's see how I want to do this. Let's go around instead, and then let's maybe make you a little bit closer. Let's do this. Good luck, you too. Nice chat, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Appreciate you hopping in and joining. Okay, let's do this. Center. All right, flex items center. Maybe it should be started. All right, run everything, and we'll connect the timeline. All right, so I'm probably gonna end up moving these out of this and pinning it here to the top in an absolute positioning. Let's try that now. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so take this, set up your workspace, that. So then I can move this. Delicious man, what up? I definitely recognize that name. Do you use any payment backend services? Yeah. So that's pretty much this whole last week was about. I just finished setting up last night my payment like processing and all the logic and all the authentication and permissions and everything that comes with that and the different plans. I use Lemon Squeezy. If you've heard of that, it's something new for me, but it's the first time I use it. But it's one that basically handles all my payments and handles taxes as well on my end, on their end, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I set it up recently with Lemon Squeezy's my go-to, right? My go-to. I can show y'all. It's right here. So you come here. Here's all the payments and things that are set up. And if I were to come in here, for example, let's go to one that I know is not set up. Let's come here. Come to billing. Come here, upgrade. And it takes you to their actual checkout page. So I don't have to handle all that on my end, which I don't really want to. And they store all the cards and all the information. So again, more complexity and security that I don't need to worry about on my end yet. So pretty much takes you here, you kind of pay it, and then it comes back and it gives you permissions as a pro plan. So yeah, I wired it up earlier. Wasn't too hard, honestly. The wiring is easy. The wiring itself was easy. The logic and the gating and authenticating everything if you're a pro plan or a free plan, and then what do you do when somebody downgrades from a pro plan to a free plan and they have certain permissions? How do you handle that when they have excess resources? It was just a whole kind of thing with that, but the actual implementation of it with Lemon Squeezy was actually pretty straightforward. All right, so this is it. Let's go to section, div, set up your workspace. Where is it set up? Okay, let's put it here. Call you relative. Well, one. It's the same for these. looks good. Let's put an arrow from here to here. Let's see how it does that. Need to switch these as well. I got that. Let's switch this back. Maybe remove this. Let's do that. Three. All right, cool. I kind of like that. cool. So let's do that, and then let's come here. You. Probably gonna need you to come here. All right. What my agent can do with this? Let me see. Let's see. Show my face. All right, page 64. All right, so I don't know if I can do it like this or not. First, let's refactor this into a component. Let's refactor that, and then I'm gonna refactor all these individually, so I don't need to come here and keep changing those one by one. Get it. All right, cool. better. Now let's see. Oh, I want to do this. Let's see. What it does, I'm not really sure what it's gonna do to kind of accomplish what I want, but see what it spits out. I'm trying to think. Almost works. See if I can get that to work. United, what up, man? What am I building? I am building I'm putting the finishing touches on a SaaS app that I've been building over the last, 5 to 6 weeks. That basically lets you manage a client or a project from start to finish as a, freelancer, company, agency, consultant, or whatever in between. handling messages, tasks, coworkers, team members, delegations, everything. Pretty much the whole kind of life cycle flow of something that you might have for a project if you do like a lot of contract work, which I'm starting to do more and more as more and more of as a freelancer. Let's see if it fixed it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Let's check this. I'm gonna tell it to on mobile. How long have I been programming? I've been programming on and off my whole life, more or less. Building my own kind of things, tinkering with stuff, learning how to program. My first full language, probably Ruby on Rails, years and years ago. But obviously I had another career from the title says, so it was not my kind of focus. And I've kind of just started now to kind of fully get back into it and kind of pursue this as a full-time thing. So for the last, I don't know, close to 2 years now that I've been going at this kind of full-time or learning how to do this full-time. But on and off pretty much my whole life, just as a kind of thing I was always interested in. All right, let's see if it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so that actually works. Check it on Charlotte Eva 298 over there on Kick. What's up? Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate the sub. How am I? I'm good. How are you doing? One system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so that's in correct order. Check out mobile. All right, so mobile, I might need to add a little bit of padding. All right, cool. Now let's check this. Still happy with that. Let's in fact, let's change this. Let's All right, on mobile. Arrow that appears. Find the first block. And move the number badges to the left side. Carmelo Satan over there on YouTube, man. What's up? How's the project coming along today? It's been pretty much a non-stop slog over the last 3 days, but last night I was able to get done pretty much my whole kind of payment processing and the whole logic behind everything in terms of like how to manage subscriptions and how to manage, who's doing what and who has access to what when they should have it and whatnot. So pretty well, I would say today, just kind of putting on the finishing touches in terms of like, basically put on the finishing touch in terms of like SEO and some of the visual cues that I want to have on my site, but generally pretty much done. Feature complete for MVP. All right, I need to fix that. What's going on there? Yeah, pretty much feature complete. In terms of what I need to do for all the features for the MVP version, and payments are all set up, and now I'm just waiting to get fully kind of accepted and cleared in Lemon Squeezy to start processing payments, and then pretty much just do some final tests on my server, and then generally I'll be able to get this up. But yeah, pretty well, I'd say. Pretty well. It's definitely light at the end of the tunnel for me. The grid and Corbell, exciting news, man. Congrats, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. It's been quite a journey, that's for sure. I've learned a lot though. I've definitely learned a lot. Not mad at that. A lot of things I've learned I will absolutely be applying to all my future apps and things like that. So not too mad at it. It's a little busy to me. Probably gonna end up removing these arrows. Venus Controller, what up, man? Thank you for joining the stream and the chat. When I decided to become a programmer, why? I don't think I ever really decided to be a programmer. It's honestly something I've always been doing since I was a kid. Whether I knew the language for it or not, it's something I always found myself doing. Whether I was modding things or tinkering with my computer or downloading software or trying to develop my own software. I am just a builder by nature. Something I've always been kind of drawn to, whether it was with physical things or with software. And software technology is something that I was kind of drawn to early on. So I don't necessarily know if I ever had a moment where I was like decided this is what I want to be. It's just something I always did, even when I was doing other things, other courses, other career. I still always found myself kind of doing this on the side. So it's always kind of been a part of what I've done, and it's just seemed like a logical next step for me in terms of things I wanted to do. If I looked at what I wanted to do after everything, this is it. Carmel Satana, can I give you a quick tip on that undo request you just made? You can keep some of your sanity by using get commits between changes. After a change, commit the change, stash it or trash it. Yeah, that is definitely a option. But I actually don't do too many good commits when I'm just doing kind of visual changes, because I will just like undo the whole thing if I have to. It'll reduce token usage and keeps you in charge. So absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. Definitely agree with you. I definitely. I'm at the end, so like I'm like I don't even want to get in there and like pick this shit apart myself. I'm being lazy. I might come back to this page because I don't think I like how this looks necessarily. Seems a bit busy. I'm gonna add an image here. It's gonna put some icons here, but overall, it's just the arrows and everything is definitely busy. But yeah, I mean, when you start getting the end, that kind of code fatigue starts hitting. I'm like, I don't want to come in here and do all this. Like, you do this. I'll burn the tokens. Seems controller being a natural builder is one of the best ways to be a programmer / developer. Yeah, I think so. I mean, the whole concept of it is literally building. It's engineering, you know, at the end of the day. It's being able to construct whole kind of completed projects from a bunch of differing systems and thoughts and ideas and like that stuff, you know, that's exciting to me. It's fun to me to be able to have an idea and like figure out a way to kind of bring it all together. So definitely something I'm drawn to, and it's something I'm probably going to continue to do. Like it gives me much fulfillment to be able to do something like this, because this whole idea honestly started as literally like I had a problem. I looked around, there weren't a ton of great solutions for what I needed. And I was like, look, I got the tools. Why not? Let's just try building one myself. And it's grown and evolved into a full SaaS, which it was not planning to be at first, but I am pretty happy with how it's turned out. All right, let's see. These pages look good. I don't like that page, but all these other ones look good. This one's gonna be features. I'm not to think about these two, what I want to do. Not really sure exactly which direction I want to head in with these, but we'll see. Other than that, all the other pages are pretty much set up and done. Just need to come in here, fill in some placeholders for SEO and, you know, all that goodness, and that's gonna be done easily with just doing a simple demo video on my own time, and then cutting out those screenshots, placing them where they need to be, getting some GIFs, stuff like that. But general flow is pretty good. Nasez, I think that's how you say Nasez. Let me know if I'm saying your name right. I might be fucking that up. Yo, I agree, bro. The satisfaction of completing a project or just little milestones is so fulfilling to me. It is. It's like, especially when it comes all from you and it's not like you're being assigned a task or made to do something. When it just comes from your own brain, your own thoughts, your own kind of like way of working, and then figuring out those problems or running the problems and then figuring out those problems. Yeah, that shit's like crack. It's like, all right, what's next? Like, I got that feature. And once you start learning things, it kind of like becomes a slippery slope, because when you start learning things, you're like, oh, I can do everything. You're gonna hit some more walls, but you're gonna take that shot anyways. That's pretty much it is for me. Once I learn a new feature and I learn how to work a new feature and learn a new concept, I'm probably gonna dive right in and figure out how to do even more of that at a larger scale, which gets you in trouble, but also it's good trouble. So like, it's definitely fulfilling to be able to come in here and craft something with your own mind. It's pretty crazy, honestly, that this is the thing. It also makes you start looking at like other software and apps and web pages and start noticing a bunch of issues and things and shit that you might not have noticed before, that you're like, oh, this is actually a shitty website or it's a shitty app. Like, it kind of like opens your eyes a lot too. All right, so I'm gonna come back to these. I don't really know. exactly what I want to do with those, but let's do this. All right, so the last kind of thing, especially if you're using like a payment processor like Lemon Squeezy, they you kind of have to jump through some hoops to get kind of accepted on their platform. Luckily for me, I've had an LLC and all that stuff already set up and have my tax information and all that stuff, so that was pretty easy process. But the last thing, which I was kind of surprised they asked for, is a demo video that of your app. Which okay, so I'm probably gonna have to. I'm probably just gonna do that right now since everything else is pretty much in place. Start with that. So it's gonna be work twofold. It's gonna be as my video to send them, and it's also going to show y'all the new people in here, the kind of full featured app. Get to it. Find my Bandicam. Yokro721, what up? Ruby on Rails seems like that should be something that might be better to start with if you are building solely web apps. Ruby on Rails is the first language I actually learned how to build on. It's the first full app that I ever built was Ruby on Rails. So I actually agree with you there. It's pretty a very friendly kind of language to work with, but I've graduated from there. This is not my first solo web app, and this is something that I've wanted to learn how to do for a long time. And I'm the type of person that I'm going to find the hardest kind of ideal in app or whatever and figure out how to do it, whether I'm ready for that or not. But so yeah, I agree with you. Ruby on Rails is definitely a great starter language and one that I actually kind of started with first to get the hang of, but that was a while ago and I'm fully on to other things. And as a freelancer, honestly, what you're going to see most outside of, CMS work, which is just like WordPress, Shopify, Squarespace, and all that, and even a little bit of Wix, is going to be mostly based in JavaScript or Python or React. So it's also good for me in terms of learning how to use this type of language and these frameworks for actual client work, which is what I'm getting more and more into. All right, so I'm gonna start this. Let's go Bandicam, so record. And it says, you probably already answered this, but what's your tech stack right now for this project? Okay, so I have a few thoughts, but I don't mind answering it. Basically, my kind of go-to right now in terms of apps and stuff is React Router 7, which formerly Remix, which is just a framework on top of obviously React and JavaScript, and then using frameworks, TypeScript is kind of the default. So also TypeScript, which I've pretty much learned on the go, but now it's something that I've come to rely on and appreciate for, it's kind of safety and everything. So other than that, I use Drizzle ORM to communicate with my backend DB, which I typically deploy to the Supabase. I use ShadCN for kind of the skeleton UI, and then I use Tailwind CSS, and what else do I use? And BetterAuth for my authentication is pretty much my go-to. That's pretty much my stack that I roll every time when I'm starting my own personal projects. Is kind of my go-to. Is one I've fallen into and gotten comfortable with, and I host on my own VPS. So that's pretty much my stack. All right, so I'm gonna come in here, readjust this browser. Yeah, I'm not gonna readjust it. All right, so I'm gonna just walk you out through this as I also do my demo for Lemon Squeezy. So here we go. Let me see settings. All right, there we go. Let's start for free. Let me sign up a new person. Just go events, test. All right, and then let me grab my verification. Here's my verification. Come in here and create a workspace. Like that, and then come here, update some of my settings. Just see. Members, say I want to invite somebody. Let's go invite. Let's make you an admin. Cool. And then let's create this project. Something is going to get that, and then let's say, for example, let's log in as a invited member. All right, I've been invited and accept that invitation. Now I'm in. Log out. Let's log another one. Also accept the invitation. Quota exceeded. Oh shoot. Let's come back. Let's check that. All right, so my quota got exceeded, so I want to, should not be exceeded, but it is. All right, so I need to check that. Anyways, let's come here. Just make you the project lead. And then, all right, welcome. Get you started. Fast to get your needs. I've also all right, let's create this. Let's go on boarding form example. And I'm gonna leave intro instructions for my speed. Details with this information. Create this task. Then let's create one more. Link, and I'm not gonna assign to anybody. Just gonna go ahead and create that task. Cool. So now if I come in here as the client, can't be right. Let's see. Maybe that's not an account. Let me check. So it's not. All right, and as a client, I will sync you. Cool. Now come here. It's going to start this task. Say it's completed. And start this task. Let's list these out. Cool. And let's come back here and say, all right, so I have some new task in here. You can see notifications. Fill out as much information as you can. I can come here and check the link, see if they did, and I'm gonna really say here. Just a few details back and fill what's up. Cool. Now it goes back to in progress, and then I come back to task, for example, and then this one is list your immediate needs. I come here and I view it. This is the list he's giving me of all the details I'm asking for. It looks good, so I'm gonna mark those as complete, and then come back to task. This one's still in progress, and this one is not. Then I'm gonna come back here. Form. All right, you missed a few key fields, and then let's say I did it again. I would basically go back to this, complete it. It's completed now. Switch that again. Cool. I can go back here, view this task, say it was completed now. Then I can mark that as complete. Come back to this timeline, send a message. That, and then come here and create another task. This one we improve with that's basically plan of action. Then let's say I wanted to link to, again, like a Google Drive folder or whatever, and then it's going to be approval only. Create this task. So now it's up to the client if he agrees to this or not, and then come back here and then review it. Please maybe go to that link file or whatever, check it out, and then I'm going to approve that. So now everything has been approved and messaged completely, and then I come back here. See there's no more tasks, it's active, but in the notification it says he approved, right? Cool. So then once I think it's done, I'm going to mark this as completed. And then they get 48 hours to automatically, before it gets automatically completed, basically, before they can respond or ask for revisions, they need to ask for it now. Otherwise, just come here. Here's the client. Pending project approval. Cool. 3 hours remaining. Pending. Please review completion. I can request a revision with details, or I can just go ahead and approve, which will mark this project as completed. And that's pretty much the entire kind of project lifecycle flow for this, is handling all that. But then if you also work to come in here as the team member who is the project lead within that, they would have received all those notifications of everything that happened within that project. And then also assign you as a lead on consulting, send you a message, all that information as a project lead that you can come in here and actually manage and run that project. And then let's see, I wanted to update my plan to actually, be to gain access to more resources coming in billing. So I'm not, because basically limited 3 workspace, 3 projects workspace, and only 1 owned workspace. So if I were to come here and upgrade this, it's a monthly fee. Let's just do this yearly. Not show that any of that information. And come back here. As you can see, I am now on a pro plan with this setup. Increased resources, tracking how many workspaces I have and all that. And you can also come in here and downgrade. So that's pretty much the flow of this entire thing. Very simple on the surface, very complicated in the back end in terms of logic, but that is the overall concept of this app, especially for people that manage a lot of clients, do a lot of freelance work, do a lot of contract work, or do a lot of emailing back and forth between clients. This is definitely a time saver. All right, I got enough for the demo. Probably send this off later. All right, man. That says, all right, man, good luck for everything. I'm gonna check and subscribe, man. Appreciate the sub. Time to continue building my own SaaS app. I'm using Django, Python, but it's always beneficial seeing other practices. Good luck, bro. Cool, man. Appreciate it. I'll definitely check out your channel, man, and I might hit you up if you got your other information on there and see what you're building, because it's good to connect and see what others are doing for sure. Almighty Za, shout out the Coyote jersey, man. Fire. Honestly, the hardest jersey in the online NHL, and worth even more money now that they're gone. But update 2 more pages and it's good to go. All right, cool. I think that's a good point to stop today. Next time I come back on here, I will probably already be up on my server, and who knows, I will be live, and I can shoot y'all a link with all the information if y'all want to come check it out and try it out for free, kick the tires, and let me know what you think about it. But it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey, and I actually have another app I need to get back to, and I will probably be doing that on the next stream. So other than that, man, appreciate y'all joining here, taking time watching what I'm doing, join the chat, subbing, following, whatever you guys do, and I will be back on here shortly, man. Peace.